All right, so today we're going to continue on with our parallel lines, and we are going to talk about a transversal. So our transversal is actually the line that cuts through our parallel lines. Our parallel lines are K and L. I'm going to put those arrows to show parallel lines. Remember, when we have our parallel markings, we can identify that they're parallel quick and easily. The arrows face the same direction. And then my transversal, it cuts through my line, and we label that T for transversal. And you can see that I have 8 angles created due to the transversal cutting across K and L. And we're going to talk about the 8 angles that are created. They are specific special angle relationships to add to our list that we already have. So the first part we're going to talk about is corresponding angles. So again, I'm using the same picture, but just to hone in on corresponding angles. So I'm going to color my picture first. I'm going to use 4 different colors. I am coloring this specifically, so I am matching, and I'll talk about that, of why I'm matching them. All right, so you can see I have my 8 angles all colored, and what I hope you can see is that I have 2 clusters. And what I mean by clusters is here is a cluster and here is another cluster. 2 clusters of angles. And the best way I like to describe this as, imagine as if this is a car and this is your driver. So here, angle 1 would be the driver. And who would be the driver in the other car? And in this case, it would be angle 5. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. We're going to continue this on and see the other combinations. So here is the person riding shotgun in position 2 in the first cluster. Who would be riding shotgun in the second cluster? And you can see that would be angle 6. Continuing on, angle 3 would match with angle 7. And then last but not least, angle 4 and angle 8. So corresponding angles, another way we can say that is it is the same position or matching position. What I like to say is same seat, different car. Again, that's my saying. All right, so again, 1 and 5, you can see again, they're in the same position. 2 and 6, same position. 3 and 7, same position. 4 and 8, same position. Another thing we need to know is corresponding angles are congruent. So not only are these angles corresponding, they are also congruent. So I could say angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. And I can say that angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. And angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. And angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. So not only are they corresponding, I can say that they have the same measure. All right, moving on to our next term, we're going to talk about alternate interior. So here we have the same picture again. So alternate interior, the first thing is I want to identify what the interior is. And the interior means the inside. So I want to identify the inside of my diagram. And the inside of my diagram is sandwiched in between the 2 lines here. So make sure you identify your interior. So again, that's my interior. And now I want to find alternate interior pairs. So to do that, I can see that angle 3 alternates or switches with angle 6. So that means angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles. Another pair we have is angle 4 and angle 5. They're also alternate interior angles. I can't say any other angles are alternate interior because they must be in between the two lines. So those are our only two pairs. We can also know that when we have alternate interior angles, our relationships are congruent again. So that means that I can not only say that they are alternate interior, but I can also say that they are congruent to one another. So I can say angle 3 is congruent to angle 6 because they're alternate interior. I can also say angle 4 is congruent to angle 5 because of alternate interior. All right, moving on to another term, we have alternate exterior. So I want to identify my exterior, and exterior is on the outside of the two parallel lines. So it's not the inside, it's the outside. So here, the top and the bottom. So make sure you identify those two places. So I'm going to label that this is my exterior. And just like alternate interior, alternate exterior, we're still switching. So angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior. So I'm going to write that right here. Angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior. Another pair is angle 2 and angle 7. These pairs are also congruent, so I could even say angle 1 is congruent to angle 8 based on identifying that they are alternate exterior angles, and also angle 2 and angle 7. Again, you want to make sure you could identify that they are alternate exterior. All right, last special type is going to be same side interior, also known as consecutive interior. So keyword is interior, so we're going to highlight that interior again. So for same side interior, I actually like to abbreviate, and I like to call this SSI. So you could do the same. So same side. So I'm looking on the line. So again, we're looking at that transversal. And what two angles are on the same side in the interior? So that means I'm focusing right in here. And that means that angle 3 and angle 5 are same side interior. Again, I abbreviated. On the other side of the transversal, I can say angle 4 and angle 6 are same side interior. Now, they are same side interior, and what's a little different for this problem is that they are not congruent. They are supplementary. Now, remember, supplementary equals 180 degrees. So I can create an equation from this one. I can say that angle 3 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees. Again, that is because of the word SSI. So here, if I wanted to set up an equation for this one, we're going to do the same thing. Angle 4 plus angle 6 equals 180 degrees. Again, SSI lets us know that it's 180 degrees. So the big item for here is to differentiate between when it's congruent and when it is going to be 180 degrees. So I want to recap all of these terms. So looking at our diagram, the few terms that we do have is we have corresponding, we have alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior. And I want to bring back, just so we remember, we have vertical angles still, and we still have linear pairs. So you need to remember that corresponding is congruent, alternate interior is congruent, alternate exterior is congruent, same side interior is 180, vertical is congruent, linear pair is 180. So make sure you write and identify which one is congruent and which one is 180 degrees. This will be helping to use to set up our statements and or equations. So looking at this diagram to color a little more, again, I'm coloring for a purpose. So I'm using two colors for this situation. So for corresponding, again, remember that's the same seat. So corresponding, I would have 2 and 6. I could have 4 and 8. I could have 1 and 5. And 3 and 7. Alternate interior, remember that is the inside. So here is my interior. Alternate interior is 3 and that's my and symbol, 6, 4, and 5. Alternate exterior, we have 1 and 8, 2 and 7. Again, if you notice 1 and 8, they're both yellow. So you can see that things are linking up with actually the colors as well. 2 and 7, they're both orange. Now SSI, here I have angle 3 and angle 5. Notice 2 different colors. That means they're making 180. Just like angle 4 and angle 6. Vertical, we have a couple vertical, remember directly across. So we have 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 5 and 8, and 6 and 7. Linear pair, here we have, there's a lot for linear pair, 1 and 2, we have 1 and 3, we have 2 and 4, we have 3 and 4. That is just in the first cluster. So I'm not going to go into the second cluster, but I will say 3 and 5 is not linear because 3 and 5 is 180 degrees because of SSI. Remember, linear pair needs to be adjacent and supplementary. SSI, they need to be on the interior of the parallel lines. So be very careful on that. All right, so here is an example we're going to do together. So here is a couple parallel lines, 16 angles, and they want us to identify the relationships they're giving us. So first we're going to look at 9 and 13. So I'm going to highlight 9 and 13. The first thing I want to do is when I see that problem is I want to see what transversal is it touching. So is 9 and 13 touching this line? The answer is no. Is it touching this line over here? The answer is no. Is it touching this line down here? No. It's touching this line. So I'm going to highlight that line. So that means I'm only focusing on this picture here, and I need to see the relationship. So I have to think of all the words we have. So corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, SSI, vertical, linear pair. Those are all the words that I should be thinking about. So I'm looking, is it vertical? No. Well, one's on the inside, one's on the outside, so it can't be SSI. It can't be alternate interior, and it can be alternate exterior. So I'm looking at linear pair or corresponding. Going back to corresponding, same seat, different car, they're both in that driver position. So this first example is corresponding. So again, I'm using process of elimination to figure out the angle relationship. All right, so now 6 and 15. So I'm going to look at 6 and 15. Oh, sorry, that's 15. So ignore that one. 6 and 15, I'm going to highlight the line that it's touching for both. So you can see that it's on this transversal here. So I want to see what relationship that is. So it's now a little sideways from our picture. So again, we're going through the process. These two angles are inside the interior and it's alternating. So that means that these two angles are alternate interior. All right, 2 and 7. So 2 and 7 are over here. And I'm just going to highlight that line that they're touching. So since 2 and 7 are both on the outer side of the exterior and they're alternating, this would be alternate exterior. All right, the last example, 4 and 11. So here is 4 and here is 11. So it is touching this line here. That is its transversal. And they're both on the inside of the transversal on the same side. So that would be SSI. All right, so for these problems, you really want to pay attention to our new vocabulary of corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, and then bringing back vertical angles and linear pair. Make sure you understand which pairs are congruent and which ones are supplementary. All right, we're going to continue practicing class. Make sure you ask any questions you need to. See you then.